Well, hello, and welcome to the Legacy Insights Podcast. And I am your host, Moving Money Mike. And listen, today we have an awesome show for you. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, we're not going to keep you all night tonight. We're going to be doing a real recap. So, listen, check it out. I'm Moving Money Mike. This is the Legacy Insights Podcast, and we're here to discuss entrepreneurship and the financial strategies to guide you to your goals and dreams. Simply put, we're going to provide you insight to get your mind and your money right. So, we're going to be covering all types of topics, um, tips, tricks, interviews, entrepreneurs at every level of business, just starting out to successful businesses running, financial professionals who specialize in certain areas, um, real estate investing, all types of different topics that are going to allow you to get those juices flowing and to start deciding what it is that you want your legacy to look like. Um, so I want you to consider a few things. I want you to ask yourself, what kind of information is it that you could use? In this episode here, 17, we're going to be doing some recap, as I said. So my goal is to assist you in becoming a better educated individual, entrepreneur, to get financially free. So it's time to let's get smarter. All right, I got my trusty show notes here, and we're going to jump right into the show because, like I said, I'm not going to keep you all night tonight, right? Because this is really about making sure that you're getting all the information. Like I said, this episode is episode 18, the Legacy Rewind. 17 lessons to build wealth forever. So if you've ever missed any of these episodes, here's what you need to do, and here's what you need to hear before 2026 kicks in. There's a lot happening in the news. There's a lot happening economically. You need to start now. I've never heard anything else that I've ever said since we started in these past 17 episodes. You need to get started now. Saving, budgeting, planning, strategizing, getting in alignment with your household, your spouse, your children, your family, your tribe, right? The purpose of this episode, first of this episode, is um, to cover everything from mindsets to money moves. And today we're revisiting the biggest lessons that can shift your life and your legacy. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Um, if you've been rocking with us since the first episode, this is your reminder to realign, focus, and reignite your goals. Like I just said, this is what you're going to need to hear going into 2026, right? Because it is so important that you start now. Um, so I'm just going to start right out, just recapping the most important parts of every one of these episodes, not in any particular order, right? So that you understand. Um, we're not going from episode one, two, three. It's just that we're going to be recapping all of the important topics throughout the entire series that we've put out for you. So if you haven't heard, go to the Legacy Insights podcast on YouTube at Legacy Insights Podcast. Hit that subscribe button, scan that QR code, put your information in there, take that financial overview, get your mind and your money right, learn some things, reaffirm some things, and confirm some information, right? You want to go from financial literacy to financial intelligence, right? So here's the first recap. And like I said, we're not going to keep you all night tonight. So the first thing is you need to know about the financial needs analysis. There's 6 steps. Count them, 6. There's 6 steps to independence, right? So we're going to learn how to audit your current financial. We talked about auditing your financial situation, identifying blind spots, and to build toward financial freedom for tomorrow. The legacy. This is where the legacy begins, with awareness and action. So the first one is the 6 steps are cash flow. You got to increase your cash flow. Um, and whatever it is that you have coming into your house, you want to first make sure that you're aware of it. Every dollar should have a destination, and that you're saving money from your original baseline cash flow. Then you need to increase it by what? um, Adding more income to the house, multiple streams. However, you could do that, selling some things, make baking cookies, doing talent shows, whatever. Um, I went out the other night and won a contest, right? And put an extra $150 in my pocket, right? That's for another show, another time, right? But hey, it's additional income that I did not have earlier, right? So the second step in the financial needs analysis is proper protection. You got to have proper protection. That's the foundation of every financial household, right? You got to protect the financial ATMs that we are to our families and our lives. The third is debt management. Like I said, every dollar's got to have a destination so that you know what is coming in, what's going out, where it's going, and then how can you shave that down. Once you start shaving that down and have it under management and control, you start bringing in extra income. Is actually you start seeing freedom, uh, uh, signs of freedom coming along. Then building wealth, right? So not now that you've got your income, your savings starting to going, now you got to start putting that money to work for you, right? Money's a tool, right? Now it's got to have a destination, then it's got to start working for you, right? Money's a tool. So that's how you build wealth, by finding financial vehicles that's going to increase your wealth. Then you need to have an emergency fund. That's the fifth step in the financial needs analysis. You got to have an emergency fund. You want to put away at least $1,600 to $2,000 away for unexpected expenses. You got to have that, at least that, or 2 months worth of bills. Give yourself a cushion. If you can really squirrel away that money, make sure that you have it there for emergency situations. Car repairs, unexpected doctor visits, time off from work when you get sick and you don't have any vacation time. You got to be able to pay those bills. And then last but not least, step number six, you got to learn how to preserve it. So once you got it working for you, got that emergency fund, then you want to preserve it by putting it in the long-term vehicles so that it has cash building capabilities for you. Annuities, IULs. We're going to touch on some of those products and services as we go through. But you got to preserve that wealth, okay? So the wealth formula was one of the things that I talked about as well. Wealth isn't magic; it's math. Okay, I couldn't say it any better. And I think I even came up with that, right? Discover how consistency, compounding growth, and mindset mastery create financial momentum. That's it. That's the formula right there. That's the equation. You want to get some consistency, compound growth, and have a mindset of mastery to create financial momentum. I mean, it goes without any real thought to say, hey, you know what? I know about these things individually, but when you put them together, that's that financial intelligence, and then when that's the financial literacy, and then when you apply it, that's that financial intelligence that I talk about. So we've also talked about in our episodes about FIA. That's a fixed index annuity. Um, Understanding how and protect your money and growth. So that's in that wealth building phase that we spoke about in the 6 steps to financial freedom, the financial needs analysis. That's the building wealth portion. Um, See, even in uncertain times in markets, these vehicles are protecting you because a lot of times they have a 0% floor. What that means is the money doesn't go negative, right? Like in 2008, people lost 54% of their earnings in their 401ks. They were reduced to 201ks, right? Because they lost over half of their wealth. People unfortunately didn't take that too well when they were at the age of retirement, looking to retire that year, and they lost half of their retirement savings because the market went south. And they're even talking about it now. So please pay attention to the TV, the markets. If you're new to this, hit that subscribe button, learn about these vehicles, turn on your TVs, listen to a little bit of the financial the economic news, to understand what you're dealing with, what your family's going to have to go through. Um, again, I try not to talk about time, uh, uh, time related issues in the government and the economics, because these, it's time that's going to pass, and when I'm speaking to it, it's not going to be relevant to you. But you've got to be aware of what's happening in the government. You got to be aware of what's going on in the economy, so that you can take care of your home's economy, not the world economy, but your address economy. So we talked about what is a fixed index annuity and how it works, understanding how to protect and grow your money even in uncertain markets using smart and safe financial tools. This is just happens to be one of them. We talked about the 10 advantages of a fixed index annuity and how they can actually help you. Please go back, recap these episodes. I believe it is in the episode, I forget the number, but it speaks to the retirement planning, right? And also the the strategies that the bank don't want you to know about, right? So look for those titles, and it dives deep into the real benefits of financial protection, security, tax deferral, and guaranteed life income. That is truly wealth building. When you talk about tax deferral, the quickest way to get a raise is to defer your taxes, right? Or lower your taxes, actually, is to defer and lower. Then that's the quickest way to get a raise, right? And then when you put your money in these vehicles, it's guaranteed income for life. Boy, that in itself is the difference between being hungry, homeless, and stupid, as I would tell my boys. You don't want to be there. Okay, not you don't want to be there, hungry, homeless, and stupid. I come up with these things. I don't know how, but listen, it's true. I don't want to be there. I don't want y'all to be there. I don't want any of us to be there. Smart money moves is what we're going here. So a call to action. I want you to go back to episode one. Start at one. Okay, that's always the ground level. You want to make sure that, because these lessons build on each other, the stories, the connection, the financial strategies, and the concepts, right? They all connect, right? And that's going to be the financial literacy journey that I need to take you on, right? Because it's our journey, right? It's our journey. This is your show. This is your information. Put in the comments what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear more about, what you want to learn more about, right? Let's have the conversations, right? Because this is your show. We want to make sure that you get to where it is you going. I'm just a vehicle. That's all I am here, right? I'm the tool. Use me to get where you want to go. All right, let's keep it moving. There's a mind shift that needs to take place. So like the legacy framework that I speak about, the 6 pillars of building a lasting legacy, huge opportunity there, right? Learn, educate, learn, elevate, guard, align, um, change, and why is for you, because it all boils down to you. Those are the 6 pillars, right? And when each one of those pillars, you dive deep into as to how they apply to you, your legacy, the financial products and services that will get you to where you're going in your financial journey. So we're going to have this system empowers everything. It just does those 6 pillars. Um, when you talk about learn, that's the power of financial education, right? You've got to be a student of these strategies. You got to know how they apply to you. Just because you know of them doesn't mean you know how to apply them to you. And right, that's why you need a financial professional like myself, my colleagues, the people that you're working with. Go to them, talk to them about what it is that you have in place so that you understand your money. Don't just take anybody's word for it, right? Don't do that, right? It's your life, it's your journey. We've got to be our own advocates. These are not back in the 1900s, the 1950s, where your doctor, your banker, the guy who ran the business told you what to do with yourself. Most of the stuff was wrong anyway. You got to be the architect of your life in your finances. Please go to the Legacy Insights podcast, hit that subscribe button, get to the legacy framework, the 6 pillars, get your education, right? When you elevate, you're growing beyond limiting beliefs, right? So as you grow and grow, that's where it's going to take you. It's going to take you to more belief in yourself and what you're doing, and then you'll be able to do more. When you're guarding and protecting your family, you feel good about that, right? You could actually wake up without that cognitive load. Oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? What if something happens to me? Where's my family going to be? You know, these pillars are there for that reason, to take away that cognitive load, to give you some confidence and some reassurance that you're doing the right thing. Because guess what? These pillars are something to stand on. There's something to build from, right? Let's keep it going, right? And then we talked about the dramatic need, the sandwich generation, right? Hey, Gen Xers, you got, they're facing this reality of being that sandwich. You got the millennials on one side, you got the Gen Xers in the middle, then you got the baby boomers, right? The Gen Xers are taking care of the kids coming home from college, can't find a decent paying job. AI is kicking in, you know, it's kicking in. People can't get jobs because AI is doing most of the work. There won't even be people serving you hamburgers anymore because the robots, they already got the kiosks working, so there's nobody hardly taking any orders anymore. The cook line is being automated as we speak, right? Now, when it comes to the baby boomers, people are living longer, but they haven't set up their retirements because they didn't have the financial knowledge, right? So now they're outliving their income and their savings. Now it's all falling back on the Gen Xers to take care of both the millennials and the baby boomers. It's being sandwiched, right? We need to get our mind and our money right. Let's keep it going. So they're facing these real stories and these real struggles, and you need real solutions. You need real solutions. That's why we are here today. So the call to action is revisit this section if you're feeling stuck. Come on now. The next financial breakthrough starts with your mindset. It's a willingness to seek the knowledge to get you to where you're going. So we talked about financial literacy versus financial intelligence, right? The difference is knowing versus doing, right? So what, you know what to do, right? I know a lot of educated people with a lot of high degrees sitting on the couch playing video games, and that's it. They ain't making no real money. Okay. Some of the biggest people in business today did not have PhDs. What they had was financial intelligence. Put those smart people to work for me, and I could make the money. Because those really educated people like to do things, right? So you put them to work doing things in your business, in your company. You see what I'm going with this? Right? I learned that a long time back in business school. That's why I'm here today. Right? I had to make some changes in my life, right? So that I can get to where I am today, so I can keep going and provide shade. I can plant a tree and provide shade for those that are coming behind me, right? I probably never sit in the shade of that tree, but I'm planting those seeds, I'm planting those trees so that, guess what? My legacy can rest under the safety and security of the branches of that financial tree that I built. Let's keep it moving. The power of protection, right? Knowing isn't enough. Building a shield around your money through smart insurance, emergency funds, and legal structures. We talked about that. That's in the guard, protecting your family. How do you shield your family through financial disasters, right? Through insurance, trust, and estate planning, right? Go back to these episodes, dial in, tap in with me, right? I talked about the 20 advantages of IUL, right? I talked about it, how index universal life policies work and why they are the cornerstone of a tax-free retirement planning. I spoke about it in this episode, uh, to whereas you get 20 advantages why you need to have this in your portfolio. If for no other reason than the long-term care insurance. People are outliving their income. Medical bills are the number one reason people are going bankrupt. You work all your life, buy your home of your dreams. Now you got to sell it to pay for your medical expenses because you don't have enough income or savings to pay for your long-term care health needs, because they're not going to help you if you own a home. You got to sell it so you can pay them. Sell your dream home, sell the house that you paid for 30 years, lived in for 40, 50, and you got to sell it to somebody you don't know so that they can keep you alive for the next couple of years, hopefully, right? So long-term care planning is an essential strategy and planning tool that you must have in your toolbox. Okay, let's keep this thing going. So, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Yep. So that's really what it is. That IUL, right? Those that long-term planning. So we also talked about uh, 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 the dramatic need for to revisit why those Gen Xers were the sandwich generation. We talked about it, and how it goes. So you got to listen to these different episodes so that you can protect your wealth in this volatile economy. So the biggest part of financial uh, literacy and intelligence is the mindset. We already know that. Before you actually can start saving and strategizing, your heart and your mind have got to be in the same place. So it goes from your mind to your heart, then out your mouth. That's how it's always been. That's how I've known it to work. If anybody else knows any different, share it with me in the comments. Right. So you got to have the wealth formula. I gave that to you. You got to revisit that. How to implement that formula on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. That's from budgeting to investing with intention. That's really it, right? That's where the mindset comes in. It's got to be with intention, and then you just got to know that you got to have financial intelligence over financial literacy. You got to do the niceties over the necessities. You've heard me say that before. That's that financial intelligence. So when you see a sale and you're budgeting, you gotta go in that store with intention. When I go into the stores, I already know what I'm going to get. Right? I don't go up and down those aisles because that's not where it's at. I go around the perimeter of the store. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but all your fresh food and milk and meat and everything is around the perimeter of the store. Those aisles, that's where they get you. All the bright colors, all the real merchandise that they want to hit you with is at eye level, right? Between 3 and 4, 5 feet. That's the area they're trying to sell you. Cookies, chips, candies, salad dressings. It's Believe me, it's there. Right? When you go to your supermarket next, just remember to look around and see what you got. Okay. So, shopping and investing in yourself with intention and purpose, right? That's what we was talking about here. So, um, financial intelligence and the application of that literacy intelligence. So you got to think strategically. You got to review your past, know your behaviors, so that you can forecast the future, and then you can execute a plan. When you know how you are, right? I talked about the fear of yesterday and the anxiety of tomorrow. We got to master today. That's what's happening, because when you know what your habits are and what your fears are, you believe in your mind because of the stories we tell us, the what is it, the stories we tell ourselves and the narratives that we live in our minds. We anticipate things in the future. So that's where that anxiety comes from, and anticipation of tomorrow comes in. So we fearing uh yesterday. We live in that fear, like, wow, that was what it was, right? And it's going to manifest itself tomorrow. But if we got to master the day and do the right thing today, we don't want to have so much to worry about tomorrow, because we've already set ourselves up for the next day, right? So, like, after I'm done with this show tonight, guess what? I'm getting ready for tomorrow. I'm getting ready for tomorrow, right? Because guess what? This is a marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I'm going to be in this for a while. We're going to be in this a while together, right? Go to the Legacy Insights podcast, hit that subscribe button, tap in with me at the Legacy Insights podcast. All right. So, the secret to lasting success is alignment, mindset, relationships, faith, and money toward money toward a unified goal. Saving money toward a unified goal. That's the secret to success, right? Alignment. Are you kidding me? I did a show just alone on alignment because it brings everything together. All the other pillars basically pivot on alignment. If your heart isn't right, you're out of alignment. If your thinking isn't right, you're out of alignment. If your strategy and planning are not in line with your expectations, you're not in alignment. This thing goes deep. Let's get in alignment. Let's write some things down. You cannot get in alignment unless you put it in paper and see what it is. Because we tell ourselves all kind of things until it comes out of our mouths, and then you're like, "Oh, did I just say that? That didn't sound too good." When it was inside, it was sounding rational. But when it came out my mouth, okay, let's keep this thing going. Alignment. Start checking your alignment. Write it down. Review your values, habits, and financial priorities before the year's end. Right? We don't want to take our garbage, our mess into the next year. No, we do not want to do that. It's like hauling around a 100-pound duffel bag with all the mistakes, the regrets, the financial indecisions and that. No, no, we don't want to drag that into 2026. We don't want to do that, right? We want to make sure that we address it now so that when we go into the next years, that we're always improving, right? We're lessening our financial overhead, getting into a year of prosperity, right? That's where we're going, man. It takes time. We didn't get into this mess overnight, and we're not going to get out of it overnight. It's a journey, right? Don't let people tell you, "Oh, we can just do this and take this out and do this." No, you're going to find yourself in some financial ruin, right? You're going to find yourself in financial ruin, right? So what I want to do is I want to help you build a legacy that outlives you. I talked about planting trees that you'll never sit in the shade of. I want you to build that for yourself and for those loved ones, or at least have that in place if something were to happen to you, your spouse, your family, right? You want them to be protected. Okay. So I want to encourage you to binge listen to these episodes. Take the financial nuggets because every time you listen to something, you're going to find something. Oh, I missed that. Oh, is that what he meant? Oh, wow. Because you know that game telephone, right? You say one thing in somebody's ear, and then by the time it gets to the next person, it's something else, right? Well, you know, I said this, you heard that, right? Go back, listen to the episodes, dig deep into the understanding of what I'm speaking to so that you can take what we have here, apply it to your life, move yourself from where you are to where you're going. Okay, there you go. There you go. So, binge listen. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, iHeart, and Apple Podcasts. Now, our next episode is going to be coming up. I'm really looking at Pillar 5, change, and trust me, you don't want to miss this, right? So again, like I said, I wasn't going to keep you, right? So go to YouTube, subscribe at Legacy Insights Podcast with me, your host, Moving Money Mike. Start your own legacy. That's what we're here to build. We're here. I'm here for you. I want you for you what you want for you. Right? Just simply put, it's about getting your mind and your money right. Again, I am your host, Moving Money Mike, and I want to thank you for the privilege of your time. And I'm out. Have a blessed evening.